Hi guys, welcome back to Vlogmas. I asked you guys on my Instagram to ask me anything, so today is going to be a Q&A and I'll be answering all the questions on said Q&A on Instagram stories. And if you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me. It's JASSOME, and my TikTok is JSSSOME. I post there every single day. So let's get straight into it. I thought I would also do my makeup while I answer these questions. Do you have any tips for younger dancers starting ballet at the age of 13? Definitely. I think my biggest tips when it comes to starting ballet at like age 12, 13, 14 is that when you're that age, you always tend, and at any age, but especially when you're like a preteen or a teenager, you're really aware of what other people are thinking, and you're always thinking, what is everybody thinking about me? That was a lot of thinkings in that sentence, sorry. But you're always just hyper aware of what others might be or might not be thinking of you. And to that, I say, stop overthinking that, and the only thing you should really think about and focus is yourself and how are you feeling, you know? Just let any kind of negativity, whether it's in your own mind and you're thinking about it, or someone is kind of, you know, giving you the impression that they're thinking negatively of you, or maybe they said something negative, just push it aside. Obviously reach out to like an instructor or an adult or a parent if it gets really bad, and you know, obviously we want a safe space for dance for everybody. But honestly, I feel like a lot of the time people aged 12, 13, 14 tend to overthink the room. Do you know what I mean? You tend to think like, oh my gosh, what if I'm in this class? What will people think of me? Or what if I do this? Or what if I do this wrong? What will people think of me? Because I used to be like that. When I actually started ballet school, I was put with some younger ages, and all I thought about was, oh my gosh, what are my friends gonna think of me? They must think I'm so bad. So what if they do, first of all? Secondly, if they're true friends, they're not going to think like that. And they didn't. They were super supportive, and like that didn't matter to them. They were still my friends. Even though I was in a younger class with like 10-year-olds and I was 14, I caught up and I ended up getting into the school. I worked really, really hard. It truly does not matter what level you're at any age, but especially at that age, because I know everybody is just so hyper aware these days. And especially now with social media of like what others are thinking of them. But you know, just keep your head down, work on yourself, keep listening to your teachers obviously, and respect other girls or boys or kids and people in your class as well. Just overall put out positivity. You will take in positivity. Also, don't be so hard on yourself if you are behind other people in your group, because maybe they started when they were 3 or 4, or maybe they've been doing this for a long time. Maybe they're in the competitive team and this is their life, you know? So maybe they've put in a lot more hours than you have. So don't be discouraged if people are ahead, because I had a teacher once tell me, it is not a race, you have to go at your own pace. And I live by that. What music sets your dancing on fire? Honestly, I don't feel like music, honestly, like Tchaikovsky for sure, but I just pick songs that work with the exercises versus like what inspire me. But maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that's what I have to do, because I definitely have music that I love. Like I love Ariana Grande's music, I love like Billie Eilish. I have a wide music taste and range. I love Taylor Swift. I also love old school rock. I love like Led Zeppelin. I also love like Tyler the Creator. I love Kendrick Lamar. You know, I love a lot of different types of music, so it depends on what mood I'm in. Like this morning when I did my ballet class, I listened to Eternal Sunshine just because that's what I was feeling this morning. So maybe that's the way to go. How tall are you as a pro ballet dancer? So when I was a professional, and I'm still the same height because I haven't grown, I'm about 5'4", maybe 5'5", about that. How many siblings do you have, and are they older, younger, etc.? I have 3 older siblings. What keeps you motivated? What keeps me motivated? I think the biggest thing that keeps me motivated is honestly you guys and like my students, because if I didn't have that, if I didn't have my students and you guys to, let's say, help me keep my goals in line, then I feel like I naturally am someone who procrastinates. But because I've been doing Vlogmas, I've been like, oh my gosh, I have to like exercise or like do this because I see it on Vlogmas. I'm like, oh, it's been like a week since I've done ballet, or it's been so long since I've posted this kind of content or whatever. Honestly, you guys keep me motivated, and my students, you know, I honestly love having goals as well. For example, I performed last weekend, about a week ago, and having that goal and specific goal in mind, I knew that I had to work towards it. I had to improve my stamina, I had to improve my strength and flexibility, so I had to work towards that every single day for like 2 weeks when I found out that I was in the show. So having a goal in mind definitely helps me keep motivated, but also having the support, which is you guys, which is my family, which is my friends, which is, you know, my students, my work, That's what keeps me motivated. Also doing my mood board, which I just posted the other day. I love doing my mood board. It's so much fun. I miss dance and I was curious, do you teach adults who haven't danced in years? I do. In fact, most of my adult clients are dancers who used to dance when they were younger and now they've come back to it because they have the time and they want to. What music do you like? I guess I just answered that already. A wide variety of music, depends on how I'm feeling. Are there any days that you don't practice? Definitely. I didn't practice yesterday. I didn't practice the day before. I didn't really practice since the show that I did on Saturday. Like, I took a big break and honestly, I just listened to my body. Sometimes I do have to push myself a bit because I can get pretty lazy and like I'll just find reasons to get out of things, like out of exercising, or reasons to get out of doing a ballet class or going to a dance class. So I really have to hold myself accountable, and that's what has been helpful with Vlogmas and YouTube, because if I say something then I have to go do it. Like, I'll be like, hey guys, I'm going to a dance class, or I'm going to the studio, I'm going to practice it 3 times. And if I don't do it, then like I just lied or I just give up. So yes, there are days I don't practice, but sometimes I have to force myself a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Can you explain how to know when pointe shoes are dead when it's not obvious? That's a great question. I feel like Josephine has this on the Pointe shop. Honestly, I feel like with pointe shoes, it's all by feel. You really have to go by how they feel, because, you know, your pointe shoes can be harder or softer or medium. It depends on the shank. It depends on the box, a lot of things. But for me, I find the telltale signs of shoes that are beyond their use is box is getting like really, really soft to the point where I can I can feel the ground or squish in my thumb or whatever. Also, the shank doesn't feel supportive when my shoes are beyond their life. Also, the box doesn't feel supportive. Just in general, if you feel like you're not being supported in your shoes, if you feel like you're being pushed over or you're sinking, or if you're feeling the floor a lot, because sometimes the shoes can look brand new, but they can be super broken in, because I've had that before, especially with Freeds. Freeds I break in really fast within like 2 classes and they can be done. So I've had that before where I got a brand new pair of Freeds. The beginning of class, they were great. End of class, they were completely useless and just too broken in to use again. And they didn't look like it. Like, when you look at them, they looked brand new. They're super shiny and everything. But then when you actually wear them, you're like, wow, I'm actually falling over my knuckles, or I don't feel like I can fully get up sometimes, because then the box gets too worn out and it's harder to get up on pointe for some people. For me, I feel like I'm crunching and I'm pushing over and I just don't feel the overall support, and I'm falling out of my turns because I just can't find the balance on the platform. So yeah, those are the few things that I look up for. But honestly, I feel like Josephine has some good pointers on her channel on the Pointe shop as well. Any tips for turns on pointe? I have a follow along video for pirouettes in general, but tips for pointe shoe pirouettes, like, here we go. I feel like pirouettes on pointe are largely in here. A lot of the times my students get freaked out and scared about turning, and I do too. I get scared about turning on pointe, but a lot of it is just here and getting over the fact that not only do you have to go fully up like this, but you have to go over the top, which is scary because the shoes are satin and they're a lot more slippery. They have less traction than these kinds of flat ballet shoes do. So it's definitely scarier because these are way easier to turn in my opinion, and in everybody's opinion, I feel like. So I feel like a lot of the time it's in here, in your brain, that you're nervous and scared. So for me, it just takes like forcing myself to do it a little bit just to get over the box, quite literally, figuratively, and physically, you know, just getting over that fear, but also having a good foundation, making sure you're using your plie, making sure you're using your turnout, your core is engaged. You're going a little bit farther when you're on pointe, because if you're in flat shoes, for example, you only have to make sure your balance is completely on your demi pointe. When you're on pointe shoes, you have to shift that a whole foot pad length, which is actually a lot if you think about it. If you're used to turning on flat, it's going to be different turning on pointe. You have to shift your balance even more in pointe shoes, especially if you're someone with hypermobility like I am. You have to play around with shifting your balance. So first things first, before you even do the turns, play around with being at the bar and doing one-footed rises, getting fully up to your balance, because like I said, it is a lot more going from here to up here on pointe. Like, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. So making sure that you're practicing your drills at the bar, making sure that your foundation is good, and just taking it step by step. Like, don't try to do fouettes right away or anything crazy. Just like take it step by step. Listen to your teacher first of all. Don't even try things without your dance teacher. Make sure you're listening to them and going step by step, because they know what's best and they know how to progress the class and to make sure you're going from point A to point B to point C without going from point A to point Z, right? So listening to your teacher, having a good foundation, doing your drills, and talking yourself into it. And I think that's all the questions I'm going to answer. For today, I know today's video was pretty short, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to see next. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, bye now.